Hi guys, welcome to our new episode of Wing Chun Roadmap.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, yeah. Today we're going to talk about another hot topic, and that is control. Um,
What is control?
what is control? Yeah, I like absolute control.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, right? So how can we control our opponent? Well, there are many ways to do it. Basically, you can try to control your opponent from a distance. So this is not the Wing Chun fighting range, obviously,
Because I can't reach.
right? But some fights happen from this distance. They start from this distance by emotional attack,
Yeah. Emotionally engaging in a battle, like
Right.
reading the intentions.
right? So the intention is already here.
Yeah.
I already want to hit him,
It already puts me in a guard, seeing that.
but I cannot hit him directly, so I have to get closer. So he has to control me by controlling what?
Your intention. So I would want as much as possible to anticipate or know what you're thinking about, and that's kind of impossible. But of course, the drills will get you some sort of reflexes, seeing the micro motions of the body, or maybe not even micro, but macro, as in somebody doing this, getting themselves ready for a roundhouse kick. That's obvious. But you can have even smaller intentions. So the point is me trying to control your next movement, not the current one.
Right, so you have to be aware, if we are talking about a self-defense situation, okay, not a ring fight. If we're talking about a self-defense situation, you have to pay attention to every small details. You have to pay attention on his positioning,
Yeah.
right? If he's like this, then obviously he will try to hit you with his hand. Because this is how people who are not trained will try to generate power. Okay, they need space to generate power. We'll talk about this power generation later. So number one, you have to control his intention. Okay. Number two, you have to control
The distance.
distance. Exactly.
Right.
Here, there's nothing. You have nothing to control. But if I close in, you're already in danger. If I kick, you're already in danger. So you have to be able to control or to act upon his first movement. His first movement is usually not a hit because the distance is
Yep.
too big. His first movement is a step. His first movement is a preparation, right? So you have to control that. You have to be able to control that. So distance
It's
management.
about reading the body language. And that's what we learn in martial arts. What does the body tell us? And you've mentioned it. So first, stances. Right now I'm talking, now I'm fighting, right? It's a very small difference, but we need to learn how to read them. And then, of course, the drills, which tend to put us in fixed positions. And we know that if we're going to do this, most likely this is the arm that's going to hit me. If I'm going to do this, maybe this is the leg that's going to hit me. So recognize those kind of movements. So let's get into the actual control now.
Right. So let's say I'm here, I want to punch you. This is the first. What do you control here? You control
Your
two
arm.
things actually.
And
Three.
okay, yeah. So the obvious one is the arm, but that's the end result. So what happened until we got to this position? There were a lot of things happening until then.
Right. Number one was my preparation.
I already saw that.
I raised my
Right.
hands.
Yes.
I wanted to hit. Now some people do not prepare. Some people are so good that they can hit from here.
Yep.
They do not let you see that they want to hit.
And that's a mastery level in
That's-
martial arts.
yes.
Being able to move without being noticed.
Right. But that's not the thing we're talking about. So basically, I'm preparing my movement.
I saw that.
Right? Here, he already controlled the distance. By putting his hand here, he's creating a shield. I cannot go straight already, I'm blocked here, right? Because everything I do here will encounter his shield. So that's controlling the distance. He's putting forward his first line of defense.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm putting forward my intention just as much as he's putting his.
Right. So that's distance already. Number two, when I hit, you moved.
Yeah. So I saw this arm. You didn't even have to move for me to know that this is what's going to hit me. So I'm probably safer going this way.
Yeah. So basically, that's control of the angles. So we have distance and we have angles. Okay. Now, of course, the safest for you to be is on the outside, obviously. Sometimes in Wing Chun, we take the inside. That's another story. Now let's focus on simple things. So this is control of the angle, control of the distance, control of the angle, and control of the weapon.
Yeah.
Right?
Which comes as an effect, as an end result.
We do not chase the weapons. You cannot catch the bullets, right? That's impossible. What you can do, however, is catch the machine gun. That's possible. But I have the machine gun, so you have to get close in order to catch it. Again, that is distance management. If I strike here, I will not give you my hand.
Yeah.
I will never give you my hand. I'm not that stupid. So, wow, how can you control the bullet? Impossible.
It's much easier to control the source of the issue.
Exactly.
And this is not my issue. This is the effect. The source of my issues is the core.
Yeah.
So the angles, even though it looked like I'm controlling the arm, what in fact I was doing is taking a position and an angle which allows me to control his core. So all the fanciness that you see in Wing Chun, a lot of speed on the arms, that's only visible to the eye, but that's not the scope. The scope is to control the core.
Yeah, that's our purpose. So there's a very fundamental rule in Wing Chun: never chase the arms. However, unfortunately, especially for the beginner and also some advanced students, they chase the arms without knowing that they chase the arms.
Yeah.
And that is not good. That's why you need an instructor. The instructor must be able to tell you, oh, look, that's wrong. You're chasing the arm. You don't even know it, right? So we talk about distance, we talk about angles, but this is still not Wing Chun fighting range. This one is Wing Chun fighting range, right? 1, 2, 3 weapons. He can use 3 weapons on me to create damage. So what about the control in the Wing Chun range? So we have here, there's one control here. Now my problem is, he can control me, I cannot control him.
Not yet.
Not yet. So in order to control him, I need to change what? 1, the distance. I'm out of our fighting range. So here we start from the beginning, which is not something we want.
Yeah, because we lose even the beginning of the control we've had.
Exactly. So, or I can change the angle. Now sometimes the change of the angle is very subtle. I'm here, see, my power goes that way. If I want to strike here, I have to, of course, pivot. And this one here, you can see already, is a change of the angle. Here I can already hit. I can already control his core, his center line. That's the purpose of control. Control the other person's center line, okay? So how can you do that? Because nobody will let you touch his body actually. So we control the other person's center line through his limbs, through his hands, right? How can we do that? Well, that's a tricky question. So we have to use angles, we have to use distraction, we have to use defend, right? Here, There's control. I can, right, break the contact. The moment I break the contact, I do not have control over this hand. I can be hit. So in Wing Chun, we do not try to break the contact and hit. We try to hit through the point of contact. That's the student Tao concept. We take the line, or we try to move the point of contact. So when we break the contact, we are safe in that moment, right? Here, if I break the contact here, I'm not safe. I cannot control his hand in an efficient manner, right? But if I'm here and I break the contact, I'm safe because he cannot hit me with that hand right away.
Change my stance in
Exactly.
my orientation. So that is, in essence, being sensitive and aware to the body movement. So control is not the submission of your opponent. It means feeling the gaps that are being creating, flowing with your partner in such a way that you can always decide what's the next move. So you need to be aware, and once you have the opportunity, you're going to go for it. So that's what control is about.
Right. Now, you might argue that if you don't have control here, break the contact here, please. This one is not a strong hit. That's very true. It's not the strongest. But like in the military, we have a pistol, we have a shotgun, we have a machine gun, we have cannon. So obviously, this one is not a strong hit. Of course, I know that. Nobody's expecting him to fall being hit by this one. True, but this is my handgun. This one will prepare my cannon. So don't be so superficial and don't chase power in every single movement. That's another mistake. I hear students telling me now, oh my God, I don't have power. I feel I don't have power in my fist. You don't need to have power all the time. Okay? You need to have strategy first. You can kill a person with a handgun. You can kill a person with an ice pick, right? You don't need a sword to kill a person. It depends on the target you hit.
How you use it.
And how you use it, right.
It's very important to separate aspects when you train. So if you want to train in control, don't ask yourself questions about power. It's regardless of the amount of power that you generate on your ability to have that control. What's the point? Am I controlling? Yes or no? And you leave it there. If you're not controlling and want to improve it, just a single touch, I'm not doing anything, I'm just touching his hand. But as long as I'm touching his hand, I can feel what's happening next. I didn't move anything, so I lost the control. But the point is, control means being in anticipation and awareness of what's going to happen next. So it's not about how fast, how strong you can hit, or how many hits you can take. So if we want to develop control, we need to lower the intensity and be aware of the body.
True, and there's another point I want to make. Do not imagine, okay, that in Wing Chun we only use this part to control, or we only use this part to develop sensitivity. No, 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 no. This is just for beginner level. We use this part, we use this part, and we use body. Okay, so really, really close. But we have to start from somewhere. Okay, we have to start. This is step one. This is step one. So from step one, we move to step two, we move to step three, and then we move to step four. Okay, so some styles, they start here. That's fine. They start here and they move closer. We start here, we move closer, and then we break the contact. This is, the steps to learn the art. Okay, it's about a learning strategy.
And it's much easier to see. So you can see my hand moving because this part, and amplifies what I'm actually doing from my body. So you can see it here. It's easier to control it. But then when you get in closer and we use this distance, the elbow distance, then it's much difficult to see it. So this kind of control here, or my reaction to it, it's very difficult to see this kind of movement. It's a very small adjustment compared to the big ones here, right? And then when you get closer to the body, you need to be feeling any type of height, angles, changes, all kinds of changes.
Yeah, shift of center of gravity, things like that. Now, of course, we're not saying here that one style is better than the other. No, it's just the learning process is different. So you have to understand that in Wing Chun, we start from close distance. We get even closer because we need to learn about our body, and by learning about our body, we learn about the opponent's body. And then we move away and we try to deal with whatever comes.
So very important point. Nobody will be able to control the other person if you're not in control of your body.
Absolutely.
So that means knowing exactly what you're doing. And that means practice, forms, stances, drills, everything. For me to be aware that when I do something, what's my strongest part, what's my weakest part? I need to be aware of those. If I'm not aware of them, then I'll say, oh, you're too good. You surprised me with a punch here. I should have expected it. I should have known that I'm vulnerable here.
It's an opening here.
Yes.
Because the second he stepped in, I moved. So that's why the opening is here.
It's the law of nature that you cannot give something without receiving something, or the other way around, right? Getting something without giving something. So we're never going to be in a balance. The most balanced situation is no fight. Everybody, no wins, no loses. But as soon as I step in, this is what I give, and that's what I get.
Of course. So you should expect, if you hit someone, that person will hit you back. It's obvious.
Yeah.
So there's another question I get all the time. How to deal with jerking movements? Like, say, we have a contact, and then the other person is spazzing out and is giving you this kind of jerking movement. And especially for the beginners, because when you encounter like a strong wall here, then you automatically tense as well. And then you cannot use anything anymore. You forget the also, you forget everything. So how to deal with that? That's also part of control. It's control of your own reaction. You cannot control his reaction. You have to use his reaction. You cannot get angry on him because he's not feeding you the way you want.
He's not hitting you the proper way.
Right, right. So the moment you encounter a jerking movement, you have to develop strategy. You have to react. You have to know, you have to train to relax. That's the first thing. So it's natural. When we encounter something, we tense. When we tense, we lose everything. It's power against power. Okay? If I lift, I don't know,
Weights
like 50 or 60 or 70 kg, then yeah, maybe I can overpower him. But that's not the point. It's not how you win a fight.
Remember, the battle is not happening here.
Of course, the battle is there. So I have to go past this point. Okay, so how can I get past to this point? Well, you have to ask your your instructor, because each school has different understanding of the same concept. So basically, everybody in the Wing Chun circle agrees upon the fact that we have to get past this point, and we have to hit the computer. Of course, everybody knows that. Wonderful. How you do that? How do you do that? What's the strategy you use to achieve that? Every Wing Chun school has a different way of interpreting the concepts. This is why it's good to have an open mind, and yeah, don't blindly follow rules or systems. You have to convince yourself that what you're doing is good for you. So keep an open mind.
And remember that convincing yourself needs to go through both the brain and the body. So what we spoke about today, control, you need to feel it. You need to feel that you're able to control your body, and you need to feel that you are sensing what the other person is doing. So I also try to stay away from, internet kind of warriors and okay, now we stop practicing and we talk about it. Is it effective? Is it not effective? It's a martial arts gym, okay? So the way to prove it's effective is by doing it, but don't fall on the other side. So don't go into ego fighting. I'm gonna prove you wrong. Bam! You're dead. So stick to the principles, right? Control is just that, control. It doesn't mean submission, it doesn't mean hitting, it means just controlling what's happening with the things around my personal space.
Right, you talked about the internet activity, and I kind of agree with that. I'm not a big fan of online teaching. Right now, the situation is like this. I hope it's going to change because you have to, as you said, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. We had like a seminar here, and people were asking, how do you know where is the point of control? How do you know? How do you know so fast? Because for some people, well, they need like 30 seconds to realize where is because they don't know their own body, that's why. If you don't know your own body, then how can you expect to know another person's body? So how do you know? You have to train, but you have to feel. You have to find a person who can show you, who can make you feel if I'm here, please, who can make you feel where is and what's the right feeling here. Okay. Otherwise, if you do not feel the power, if you do not feel the right body alignment, then it's very difficult for you to believe because you don't have the direct experience and you need to have that.
But it's definitely a path that's worth following because the sweetest part about control is when you have it, it's easy. So in the beginning, you get frustrated, it's difficult, it's hard, you keep trying, the instructor tells you, do this way, do it that way, you're not feeling it. And then all of a sudden things become easy and you can strip out the force, the power, the speed, and you can just work on your control.
Exactly. Control is fundamental. It's fundamental. And it's like a never-ending story. There's levels of control. There's levels and levels and levels of control. You can go as deep or as you want. This is why it's a martial art. It's a never-ending study process. You can never say, oh, I have enough control. No, you never have control. Okay.